just to start about about the show, I will talk about a little bit about what I do. Most of my work is Chinese ink on paper. So this series is done by that technique. So when I started with talking about this show, when I was thinking about what to do, and I decided I want to talk a little bit about the elements, the four, not the four elements that we have in the planet, but at least the two I think are more important, or maybe not more important, but they are like a little bit more intriguing to me, which is water and fire. And both elements, I think, they are complementary to each other, and at the same time, they're like opposites. Because water can turn out fire, right? And fire, with a lot of heat, we can make water into gas. So at some point, they are destructing each other, but at other times, they can be an ally, you know? That's why the name of uncomfortable allies, because they can help in each other, and then sometimes they won't help. So those are the elements that I was trying to talk about, or the theme that I wanted to impact to the audience. With these paintings are
No, I was just going to ask about the works themselves. I mean, you use the term paintings, but at the same time, it's on paper and it's sort of you're drawing, correct?
Yeah.
But you're seeing
exactly.
them more because of the way they're executed as paintings as opposed to drawings. I think because I had a lot of people ask me about that. Well, are they paintings or are they drawings? And I go, well, you know, it is Chinese ink on paper, but he's considering them as paintings.
Yeah, that's a little bit something that, because maybe that was because of when I translated to English.
Yes.
Sometimes I use a word that it shouldn't be there, but yes, I think they are drawings, but somehow I saw them as paintings, because when I do drawings, I think about more sketching something. Yes. When I do something that is more abstract, I don't know why I turn it to be like a painting, or visualize it as a painting. Yes. But yeah, there could be like, we can say that.
And I understand that, because I personally, for myself as an artist, I have done works on paper that they're works on paper, but they're painted, and I consider them paintings as rather than drawings. So I totally get that, but it's good to sort of have you talk about that in that way. So looking at the work that's in Uncomfortable Allies, and there are all these different geometric shapes, and you were talking about the fire and water. I'm just wondering how, in your mind, that geometric design translates to that vibration of fire and energy, or if, you know, when you're creating the work itself.
Yeah, well, like the two elements like I was saying, they're like two elements that can be hypnotizing, or very something that can make the viewer to focus. When you are in a fire camp, you can stay for hours watching at the fire, right? And when you see the ocean and you can see the waves, they are always coming and going. So I was trying to visualize that in my mind, and that's how I started doing the drawings, you know. I never I never do like pre-sketches or something like that to see what the work is gonna be. I try just to visualize it in my head and start working with some that I've used before, or something that I don't know how to explain it, because I just visualize it in my mind and then just trying to start working with lines.
Wow.
I always start with some idea, but somehow the work starts speaking to me, you know. Not every time is the result that I'm expecting,
right?
But I'm always like trying to move by the work, what it's telling me, you know. I don't know if the answer is what
No,
I'm
no,
answering.
no, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, to me, it's amazing that you're not doing pre-sketches for the work that you're intending to do, that you're starting with a blank piece of paper and they so are you using do you use a brush or is it a pen that you use to make because these lines are so incredibly fine that you created. I mean, the smaller works that you set, the one there, I forget what the title of it was, but it was with the red and it's all very tight in and it's sort of vibrating the work
Yeah.
as you look at it. I mean, you get that intensity. So I'm just wondering, what is the implements that you're using to create these designs?
Yeah, there are fine liner pens. They are from, well, the material is Chinese ink, and they're on these really fine pens, you know.
Yes.
I struggle a lot to find them
Uh-huh.
because they're not everywhere.
Yes.
But that's the ones that I could find to do it, because when I decided to become an artist, I wanted to do something different, something I haven't seen that much before. And I was working with acrylics and oil, but to do what I was imagining, I couldn't do it with that.
Yeah.
So somehow I find an old fine liner to use, like to do. The architects use it to do the blueprints long time ago. So I used one of those to start like doing some geometric images, and from there it'll start coming to shape, you know, and that's how when I decided to become the artist, I said, well, I want to do this. Just use straight lines to make the compositions of my work, and I start looking for some pens with color, because the first year or first 2 years, all I do was black and white.
Black and
just,
white.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was just asking the question about how long does it take you to actually produce a work? Like, say, for instance, the work behind you that to do
Yeah,
to come to completion. Do you?
yeah. Saying about this specific work, the dimensions are, well, I'm going to say in centimeters because I don't know in inches.
That's okay.
Is in 70s is 100 centimeters per 70 centimeters,
Yes.
and this one took me like 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
And obviously, it's very difficult to say exactly how much time, because some days I spend 3, 4, 5 hours working, then another day 6 hours. So, but more or less working 5, 6 to 6 hours a day, like 4 or 5 days.
And when you're doing the work, is it meditative in a way? Because I mean, I know it's intense, the geometric designs of it, but it almost looks like, I mean, I'm projecting here, but that you're in a zone and you're just in that space where it's sort of like meditating with a pen in your hand. Does that
Yeah.
resonate at all with you, or am I just making stuff up?
No, totally. I mean, most of the time for me is relaxing, you know, because I love it so much that when I started one work, it could be a little bit not stressing, but tired, because you are doing all this many repetitions.
Yes.
Yeah, many repetitions. But yeah, it's somehow it's relaxing, because I forget about everything. You know, I forget about the problems that could be happening around my surrounding and everything. So I just focus in that and listen to my music and go. And
what's your favorite music that you like to listen to while you're working?
Well, that's a difficult question, because I listen to a lot of different genres of music.
Yeah.
So I'm going from rock and roll to Zen music, meditation. So one day I could be listening to 80s music, and then change my totally vibes and just start listening to Metallica, you know? So it's one particular.
I know for like certain artists like de Kooning, I know had TVs on in his studio 24/7. So that was it. It didn't really matter what it was. It was he was interested in sort of the background sound while he was painting. So I think it's interesting to see how different artists approach their work, whether they listen to music or they do it in silence. I think it somehow seeps into our subconscious and helps propel that creative process. You know, when you're
Yeah.
doing work like that. Do you, when you're creating the work, do you ever do more than one, start on one and then start another one and go back and forth? Or do you always just focus on that one work until you complete it and then you start the process over again doing another work?
In general, I prefer to do one work at a time, but when I'm working with large pieces, on those, I'm working with one big piece, and then one day start another piece, a small one, so I can just like distract a little bit about one work to another one. But most of the time, yeah, it's just one work at a time. Most of the time, but yeah, sometimes I go back and forward from one to another.
So
Yeah,
you mentioned in part of information that you sent to me that one of the things that you had for in the future was maybe creating a creative space. Do you want to share a little bit about your thoughts about that, or what you would like to see happen where you live in terms of that?
yeah, I mean, I don't have right now anything on the table right now, but it's an idea that I have that in a long term, trying to make a foundation, because I like to help others, and I think the one way that we can make a better place is trying to help people or kids to get more education. So I would love to create a foundation in which we can give some information, some education to the youngs, and at the same time do it by art, you know, because here in Mexico there's not a lot of foundations, or the government, it doesn't care a lot, you know, to make this something with importance. So that's the idea I have. Like, I don't have it like really.
But it's a dream that it's
Yeah,
something
exactly.
a dream that you have, and
Exactly.
I think it's a very admirable dream to have as an artist and want to share your creative efforts as well. Do you interact? Do you have within your community in Guadalajara? Do you have other artists that you're close with that you guys kind of share ideas and thoughts with?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of artists here in Guadalajara. I mean, obviously, you don't talk to all of them, but I know a lot. And yeah, we hang out, we talk about what we can do. And here in the pandemic was like, how can we help each other to make the studios the work, or the collectors go to the studios to see the work that is happening. So yeah, the art scene in Guadalajara it's very nice, and there are some really big artists that are doing great things around the world, like Jose Davila and Eduardo Sarabia and others, and they all like. I think they all like to help young artists. So
That's
yes,
good.
I think the community here of artists are working together, and it's great.
Well, I want to thank you for allowing us into your studio today and sharing your thoughts about the work. Just final, is there anything that you'd like to share with us about your show before we go today?
Yeah, well, but I don't know. I think I don't know if I say everything, but yeah, just enjoy the work. I think most of my work is I'm trying to create these pieces to generate some sense, some tranquility to the viewer. So if they can enjoy it, then that's that's all I can ask. You know,
Yes.
if they can
Well,
focus on the work and enjoy it, I'm glad with that.
Well, it's beautiful work that you've done, and I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to show your work at Asher Gray. And thank you again for allowing us to come into your studio today. Appreciate it. And hopefully we'll see each other soon, maybe in Guadalajara, maybe in Venice, California.
Yeah. No, thank you very much,
Okay.
Frederick, for having my show, my work shown with the gallery, and hope we can work together in the near future. And
I look
yeah,
forward.
I hope we can see each other really soon.
Okay. Thanks, Kamir. Bye. Talk to you later.
Bye bye. Thank you, Frederick.